what does it mean to be a witch?
Well, as a believer in the material world and a psychiatrist to boot, I'm convinced that the current spread of belief in magic and the occult is part of mental illness. Bad luck isn't brought by broken mirrors, but by broken minds.
All right, this is the Last Roundup Horror Show. I am Frank. With me, as always, we have John Walmsley in the house. There he is. And we have Ray McGuff, Randy Wotan.
Hi, guys.
And then from the, let me see if I remember the podcast name, the Non-Judging Breakfast Podcast. Is that what it is?
That is correct. The Non-Judging Breakfast Pod.
We have Steven or Steve or Mr. Marchion.
Yes. Yeah, I know it's a tough one. It doesn't look how it sounds, and it's not spelled how it looks. So, or it's not spelled how it sounds.
And Steve got a hold of us through TikTok, which I don't know how long that's going to last. It seems like America does not want TikTok to happen, or at least the government doesn't.
Yes.
So
100 old farts don't want this to happen anymore. So
I think
congratulations, America.
I think we're gonna go back to the old YouTube and focus on there. Still put TikToks out, but he got a hold of us through TikTok. They have a TikTok, which you're a Gossip Girl podcast. So it was. I was like, why does he want to come on and talk horror movies with? I'm glad you did, but I was like, what was the motivation to come? You just saw us on and was like, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, really, that's what it was. And like, I got kind of brought into the Gossip Girl thing. I've never seen an episode before I started this podcast, and my podcasting partner was watching when it first came out, and was like, I want to start trying to podcast, and you know, he's been kind of running that, but at the same time, it was like, let's get out and talk to other podcasts. And I even mentioned this to Leaf. I'm more the horror guy than Leaf is, and that was really my incentive. Is I watch horror movies with my daughter, like every time she comes down to hang out, and it's funny. It's like we run the gambit of horror movies. You know, when the boobs come out, we both get on our phones and just kind of like, you know, in a random zombie movie, and we're just when it's too awkward, we just kind of like, you know, focus on the movie. But since she was like 13 or 14, we've been watching horror, and she's 17 now, and we always watch horror movies together. And so this just seemed like a really fun avenue for that. So I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem. Yeah, we're I think that's amazing about the horror you know, genre in general, is that, and especially I'm sure that everybody here went to cons. You know, there's such an eclectic group of people. You know, it's not just one pigeonholed group, you know. So I think it's pretty neat. When Frank told us you were coming on, I said the same thing. I'm like, Gossip Girl, I think I've seen one episode of that. Well, yeah, but I figured like you probably wouldn't want to do this unless you were a horror fan. So that's just cool. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was a big horror fan when I was younger and used to watch horror movies with my dad, and then stopped kind of watching them for a while. And then when my daughter got back into them, then that brought me back in. And she said, well, why did you stop watching them? And I was like, I had kids. I had real things to be afraid of.
Yeah. I stopped for a while too. It was just they were bumming me out for a while. Like it was like life was bumming me out, and then that would bum me out even more. But then starting to do the podcast, just you know, I found stuff that I didn't think I liked that I did, and just brought me back into it. But this is our 100th episode of the show. Technically, we've probably done more than that because we did a bunch of weird offshoots and shit. But we're also doing a movie we've never done before, Suspiria.
I'm surprised we haven't done.
We've done a lot of Argento, and I still don't know how I feel about him, to be honest with you. I appreciate his eye, I appreciate his artistic viewpoint, but a lot of the structure of his movies are fucking bullshit. It's you got to just be like, all right, well, I guess that's whatever the fuck it is. And this is one of those. 1977. An American newcomer to a prestigious German ballet academy comes to realize that the school is a front for something sinister amid a series of grisly murders. Directed by Dario Argento, written by Dario Argento, Daria Nicolodi, who's usually an actress. She's been in several Argento films, and Thomas De Quincey. And it appears that he wrote the Three Mothers book, like whatever the Three Mothers trilogy is based on. He wrote all of it.
Yeah.
And it says book, so whatever the fuck that means. Anyways, let's start with you, Steve, since you're our guest. What did you think of this 70s classic?
I enjoyed. I had fun with it. Right, it was quirky. It felt very 70s horror. You know, there were certain things that I really liked, certain directorial choices, and especially early on, that I thought were really interesting. Just kind of like very violent imagery without anything really being violent. The wind, the water, like all of that imagery going in, I thought was really like brought me in. At the same time, there was a lot of those moments that you just felt like you had to accept what they were laying out for you. Sort of like what you just said, that there was a lot of, oh, well, I guess we're here now.
Yeah. That's what Argento does.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess that's the person that wouldn't let you in earlier, and that's why she didn't let you in. And but at the same time, you know, I enjoyed it.
What would you give it out of 10? That's how we do things around here.
Sure, I'd probably give this a 7 out of 10. You know, I'd probably a solid C. You know,
yeah.
That mostly because of how almost disorienting it got at times.
Was that where I landed? No, I gave it a 6. I was correct about this soundtrack. I love Goblin. They're fucking amazing. I listen to Goblin soundtracks all the time, like all of them. Phenomena, Deep Red is awesome. Even shit from movies I've never seen is great. This soundtrack, I knew before ever seeing it that I fucking hated it, and the reason is there's the flavor of the Goblin I love, the organs, that organ theme is great. But then they lay so much garbage noise over top of it, and like sometimes it sounds like bats made out of violin strings. It's fucking terrible. And it makes it unlistenable. And if you sit down and are like, I'm gonna pop on the Suspiria soundtrack, you're fucking crazy. That's it. That's all there is. John,
I love that.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
You also pop The Shining
him
on. You're like, let
perform
me
it
put The
live.
Shining soundtrack on. Boom. No, it's the one I don't like, but I do think more directors should take consideration to lighting and color like Dario Argento does. You can always tell when it's his shit, even if it's bad shit. You can always tell. If you watch Mother of Tears, it's a terrible movie, but it's Argento, and you can appreciate his effects and his colors and the way he shoots things. I think he could benefit always from a screenwriter. I don't know if he writes most of his movies, but this one he did, and several others he has. I can't think of, he should, with his talent, he should have tens across the board. But I can't remember giving any of the movies we've watched a 10. I don't think I have at all. A Phenomena, as much as I love it, is not a 10. I don't think. I don't remember. I don't remember what I gave it. But halfway through, I was feeling like I was looking at a beautiful and boring piece of audibly annoying art. So it's like beautiful to look at. Very boring storyline. If there is one, I can't connect it. And the soundtrack, like I said. But yeah, the bat scene, come on, man. It feels like he did that somewhere else.
I love that scene. What?
Did he do that in a different movie? A bat like that? I don't know. It feels like I've watched that before. Maybe it just reminds me of the spider scene from fucking no, that's Fulci, isn't it? The spiders are in the Beyond. Yeah.
Well, they did a bat in House by the Cemetery.
That's it. That's the one I'm thinking of. I was just, whenever that happened, I was like, well, fuck, boys, what's next? You just gonna bring some skeletons out to fucking jangle around and spook the lady? I don't know. Fucking bats. But essentially, this movie felt like watching a mousy woman sneak around a very cool and colorful haunted house while nerve-wracking music jangled me to my core the whole time. It's not unwatchable for me, but it's about as entertaining to me as Hellraiser or Carrie, which I don't really care for either one of those. I can appreciate the things that are going on in both those movies visually and shot, how it's shot, but I give it a 6 out of 10. I understand why it's a classic though, and I understand why anyone might love it. So who's next? John, Randy?
Yeah, so I'm one of those dudes that loves it. This was recommended to me a long time ago, like probably college years. And when I first saw it, I was like one of the first Italian horror movies I ever saw. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. I consider this a must-watch horror film. It's just overall I feel like it's a great Italian horror film. Yes, it's got its problems, but the lighting, the music, I love the soundtrack. Like the sounds, they played it live. They recorded the soundtrack first, and then they played it live on set at full blast to unnerve the character.
This is when I realized that I added all Goblin shit to my playlist one Halloween, and I went over to Jason's house and we were having a party. The thing was on random on this Halloween playlist. When the theme to Suspiria came on, he goes, dude, what the fuck is going on over there? Because it was just, like it's got fucking Claudio Simonetti all over it going, whatever he's doing. Yeah. And it was like it was a weird jangly shit. And I had to physically go up and walk over and change the song because it was like freaking people out.
So the story, if you notice like some weird things in there, like why are the doorknobs like throat high on everyone and stuff? This was originally written for the girls to be like teenagers, like or preteens even.
I read 12.
Yeah, there you go, 12. All right, so like 12 or 13. But like because of the violence and stuff and the laws in Italy, like there's just no way. So they left the script the same, pretty much. The effects, awesome. Love the effects. The death's brutal. That first death with the hanging, just not like it's like, all right, he's repeatedly stabbing her, that demon or whatever they conjured up to come get her. And stabs her so much you see her heart beat and he stabs that. All right, that's still not enough. Okay, let's tie her up, throw her through that glass, and then that's not all. And then I love the editing of that scene. It's just like the way the quick cuts just make it really effective. And she just, oh, what a brutal scene. Like it's so good. So awesome. The magazine was cool. I love that one. The only thing that irks me is like outside of shock value, what was, I guess, to move the plot forward to hear the directress, behind the curtain, because that was their whole thing. But why would you store food in an attic? A big ass place with a decent sized kitchen. Like they have to have a place to store food.
What was the food? I don't even know what the fucking food was. She opened up a thing, right?
Sausage. It looked like cured meats, like sausage, like sausages and stuff like that.
That's what I thought. It looked like a butcher. Like
that's that kind of Argento shit that like you're just like,
oh, for sure. I read that Argento had his cinematographer Luciano Tovoli watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to get inspired for the lighting.
You know what the lighting made me think sometimes? Like, why would that place be lit like that? Like, that's a lot of weird lighting that you'd have to pay money to have lit up all the time. Like, just, I don't know. It was cool. I like it. I love it. But why? You know?
Sarah's throat slash looked really good. It looked like they cut some kind of actual like flesh, like they did in pieces. They used pig flesh for the chainsaw scenes, you know, and it looked just way too real. And the finale is when everything comes together. You finally see that they are witches. You know, you don't really. That's the one thing maybe I didn't like about this is like it's a mystery of are they witches or not, which is fine. I wanted to see more, I guess, more witchy shit. You know what I mean? Like, not doesn't have to be double bubble, toil and trouble, you know. But I guess the like the demon thing and all that other stuff, I guess didn't really scream witch. It's like witch adjacent, I guess. I don't know. But all of that aside, required Italian horror viewing, required horror viewing. This, for me, is a 10. I love this movie. It's really, really good. With all its flaws make it good. Like make it better for me. Like, yeah, the story's a little, you know, okay, guess we're here now. Yep. Yes, we are. Jar in place. There you are. All right, cool. You know, so, but yeah, this is, even my wife watched this one and liked it, and she hates horror movies.
So I watched this in Italian, so I liked it because it made it feel like a little bit I don't know, like a more, like it seemed natural to them. Yeah, it seemed a little bit more natural than to have like English actors going, "Get out of the way, Martha," you know. Stuff like that, you know? So I enjoyed that. So the version I had that going on, so that was cool right off the bat. But I love like everybody's touched on this. When I started this podcast, I had seen very little Italian horror, and luckily, John, you know, you're part of the podcast that you're always expanding my horizons with this stuff, because I would have never watched this, you know, had you not mentioned it. And I'd seen the remake, but I didn't know it was based on something else at the time. So this to me was like, I love the way this guy does stuff. When you're looking at this movie, it's like watching moving paintings. Like Martin Scorsese does that too, in my opinion. He frames things like a painting when you're watching it.
For sure.
That to me makes it like more in depth. I don't know how to describe it. It gives me an extra layer when I'm watching a movie. Like it pulls me into it. It doesn't look like it looked like I was actually looking through a window rather than watching a movie, you know? So I liked that right off the bat. The soundtrack, I know Frank just went to say you're gonna hate me, Frank, but I kind of liked it. I don't know, man. Like it was so fucking overbearing that it made me feel uncomfortable, which is what I think the intention was. So to me, again, it added to the overall atmosphere of the movie, you know? So would I buy this and listen to it? I don't think so. It's not really my thing. But as I was watching the movie, I was like, this music is making me feel uncomfortable right now. So that's pretty cool.
The music almost had like black metal vibes. Like the way that with the hissing vocals over top of it. Yeah. And yeah, it was going, it was trying to achieve a purpose, and it did.
I thought so too.
I felt.
My other thing is I liked the runtime of this version a lot. It has a very simple plot. This girl gets there, some weird shit's going on. She uncovers what's happening. She thinks she knows. At the end, we're confirmed. To me, this is like a perfect. I know you were kind of saying that it's edited a little weird, and it is a little funny editing here and there, but to me, it flowed very well. It's like, this is the movie. It's quick. It's to the point. That final shot with the fire and the credits, fucking beautiful. I loved it. But the acting in this was really good too. The blind guy, I fucking love the blind guy, guys. Let's talk about the blind guy for a second.
He's a known Italian actor. He's really
Yeah. I love when he gets so mad. He's like, fuck you, like, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, bitch,
Yeah, it was like
But what is
the biggest emotional point in the movie up until that. And it was over the dog.
Like, you bit my son. Well, fuck your son, lady.
Yeah, her
He went 0 to 100 with that too.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I love
what is it?
Was nuts in that. I loved her.
And the shot where he dies is amazing. That whole shot's great. I loved the build up to that, the cops and everything later. But what is it with this guy in straight razors, guys?
Oh, it's his deal. It's part of the
fucking loves straight razors,
Giallo, however you want to pronounce it. That's like part of it.
Giallo. That's
with the razors.
Yeah, it's every one of these movies. I'm like, there it is. All right.
And straight razors just look fucking cool.
They're terrifying. They're terrifying.
Exactly.
The lady cuts my hair. She always straight razors my back of my neck.
Yeah,
and
I do too.
I start to cringe.
I'm like, what are you doing with that?
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
Sweeney Todd? Fuck.
Just the look of it's creepy. Also, I loved the I loved, so like I said, I loved the ending, but there was a part, and I'm pretty sure I'm not getting these two confused, but she falls in the razor wire or the wire.
Yeah, whatever the
one,
fuck
right?
that was.
And I've never seen
where we keep our barbed wire.
It was
right. We've got all of our wire here. Let's have it just
on the floor of this room.
Why?
She didn't see it. She had to have seen it, right? She jumped.
she looked down before she jumped. That might have been just the actress doing.
She was just kind of like, this is better than what's going on up here. I'm doing it.
Yeah. This dude's fiddling with the lock over here. Ka-chink, ka-chink, ka-chink. I better jump into this razor wire.
But I got to tell you, I have anxiety. I've got it under control, luckily. But that part of her trying to wiggle her way out literally almost gave me a panic attack. I was sitting on my couch, like trying to not breathe, because I was like, it's just the constrictiveness of it got me. So that was very. So yeah, there's a lot of great kills. I'm sorry I'm dragging this out here. I'm just trying to hit on all the points, but there's a lot of great kills in this movie. I'm with you on this. I think this is required viewing. If somebody was going to say, "Hey, Randy, I'm looking at getting into Italian horror. Name 3." This would be on my 3 to check out. I liked this movie a lot. I'll probably end up adding it to my collection at some point here in the near future. So I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Sweet.
Very well. All right, it is time for Trailer Trash. Jean Paul, what do you got today?
All right, I got 3 fun ones. All right, I'm just gonna read the quick description of the first one, and then throw in a couple 2 cents just to have fun with this. So, the first one I have for you is a horror anthology centered around a phenomenon called Kilroy and the graffiti of Kilroy. And this is Kilroy Was Here, a movie that most people don't know. It's a Kevin Smith movie.
It's directed by him or what?
Written by Kevin Smith. Came out in 2022. And you want to know why people don't know this movie?
Why?
Because it cost you $2,000 to watch this movie.
Damn. What?
You released it as an NFT.
Oh, yeah. I hate it then, John Paul. I hate it.
It's the craziest thing. Why would Kevin Smith do this?
Money.
Not to mention, the movie's only an hour and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's say this.
I almost just don't want to play the trailer out of principle.
Hold on, I've seen it, and I want to say this. I've seen it, and I didn't pay a dime for it. So fuck you, Kevin Smith.
There's this lovely site called the Internet Archive, and if you know how to do proper searches on there, you're gonna find a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let's not give him any more money, but if we can find a way to take some from him, I think he deserves it for this shit.
There you go. This is Kilroy Was Here.
Blind the eyes that cannot see, make deaf the ears that cannot hear, close the mouth that cannot tell, and send the monster back to hell.
Back then, his name was Roy Huggins. When he was your age, he already had a taste for blood.
Holy shit.
What is happening? Nothing will stop Kilroy if he wants to get you.
Oh, God! You almost gave me a heart attack. I'm a middle-aged man who eats like shit and huffs floor cleaner all day.
This is Alicio and Ernesto.
Hola, amigos. Me llamo Father Pat. Come on out.
The online donations have put us over the top.
It's going to take a lot more money for that heart transplant.
Kid-killing boogeyman, that is just some superstitious bullshit.
Look out! I'll make my special sweet tea.
You gonna come smoke?
Yes! You see that? The Gator Chaser did it again!
Chris Jericho, huh?
No! Get this shit!
Kathy, I'm coming to Kilroy!
Oh, all right.
Better get the mob.
What's crazy, it's one of the best shot films by Kevin Smith.
Yeah, I actually liked it. So
It does look good, but God, that's a stupid piece of shit thing to do. I mean, I
totally agree with you.
I thought we were done with NFTs. I thought that was like, oh, everybody's like, that's stupid as fuck.
Well, I mean, like again, it came out in 2022. Again, I'm not sure what he was thinking, but if you Google this movie, you're going to see all kinds of interviews with him on different like financial things talking about it, and I'm like, is he smoked himself silly?
See, on it was that he probably did it to fund one of his other projects. Like this was before Clerks 3, right, Jean Paul?
Yes and no. Like I said, he started making it before Clerks 3, and then stopped it altogether, made Clerks 3, and then scrapped whatever he made initially, and then redid it. Well, the man's crazy.
Yeah.
It could have been just to try to get some money together to save that theater, the Smod Castle or whatever that he's always trying to save.
That
It seems like he's barely keeping that thing alive. But anyways, what else is in your pocket?
All right, so Dracula, the Wolfman, Mummy, and the Invisible Man must work together to stop Dr. Frankenstein from creating an unstoppable monster. This is the Monster Mash.
Oh,
1 second, gentlemen.
A stranger came into my home and took away my child. Tell me who took her.
I'm Dr. Victor Frankenstein, and you belong to me now.
Fucking Michael Madsen.
Yes, it is.
Must fight. The Invisible Man. I just need a piece of his skin.
What is he attempting?
An unkillable abomination. It will wreak havoc on the world.
I'll be fully a god among men.
Blood is life. I owe you mine.
You need my help.
What's the plan?
Infiltrate Frankenstein's lair and get my daughter back.
I'm sensing something.
Get back! Won't be easy.
Asylum
I
effect.
have to rely on reflexes for this one. Gentlemen,
I look forward to plunging into hell with you.
I will drag this thing back to hell.
Yeah, I'm 100% watching this.
Wolfman has nards.
Maybe that is that like the best thing the Asylum's ever put out, or what?
I mean, the best thing is still, Sharknado and Sharknado 6.
That's definitely going to be a graveyard smash, though.
Yeah.
Is Michael Madsen still alive? Is he dead?
No, he's still alive.
Man, he looks like he's close to the edge.
Tom Sizemore is the one that died, I think.
Yeah.
I get those two confused all the time.
He looked close to dead 5 minutes after Reservoir Dogs. So,
but he's prime in that movie, man. Like the '90s were good for him.
I just feel like everything after that is when it just like what happened.
He had a good run in the '90s for sure.
Yeah, I'm still a fan.
Me too.
Yeah, of course. Now I know you. Whatever your last thing is terrible, right? Because that's two good things that you've put in front of us.
I thought the Monster Mash after watching it was terrible, but
well,
this one is. This last one's my favorite. I mean, I've now watched this movie 4 times. I made my mother-in-law watch it over the weekend, and she just was like, "Thanks." But my father-in-law thought it was the funniest thing ever. So, there's that. So here it is, the description from IMDb. In the 19th century, a supernatural winter comes down, and a drunken Applejack salesman must go from zero to hero and become North America's greatest fur trapper by defeating 100 beavers. This is 100 beavers.
All right. Oh no.
Oh my God, I'm in.
Jesus Christ.
So Jean Paul, do you just bring misery everywhere you go with you then? You're like, I think I'm going to go to my in-laws and then make them miserable for an hour and a half.
I mean, I described it to them as a live-action Looney Tunes movie with some horror elements, and my father-in-law and mother-in-law both said, okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah, and then after you left, they were like, God, that guy.
I've seen your mother-in-law. She wears like really nice fancy scarves and stuff. She seems like an upstanding, younger. I guess she's not younger. I mean, she's older, right?
Yeah.
Young lady. Well,
she used to work for the church,
Yeah, she seems like she works in the city government or something. And you're like,
yeah, she's a retired lady now. She, loving life.
How about this 100 beavers? Let's all gather around the.
Like you go over, she's like, Jean Paul, would you like some tea? And then she brings out like a proper tea set, like with like all the little.
And he throws on 100 beavers.
And then I throw on 100 beavers.
Listen, I thought it looked funny as hell.
I mean,
I gotta watch it. It looks super funny. When I love the dudes in suits, and he spears one of them. Like that's fucking hilarious. Are you kidding me?
And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because there's some other creative kills that are not in that trailer.
And it just looks visually cool. I like silent films. So
so you can just go like this too.
I'll probably watch it, but I'll judge you.
That's everything.
Judge me hard. I want this movie to do well because the guy wants to do a sequel.
Oh, good. Was it 1,000 beavers?
Well, I think it was your your dollar and Randy's dollar that put that Winnie the Pooh sequel out. You know,
Oh,
you guys,
that was great.
Who
you guys
Blue and
both
Honey
saw
2?
that.
Really good.
Oh, what about, I saw a poster that was the Pooniverse or something like that.
That's right. That's
Is
right.
that a real thing?
They are creating
Marvel universe with it.
We got a Bambi movie coming next.
Yeah, it's
and
Bambi,
then you got a Peter Pan, and then a Pinocchio movie.
Pinocchio is
modeled
gonna be like
after Chucky.
Chucky, yeah. They were talking. So like when we went to this part 2 screening, the creators they had like a thing before vignette before the movie, and they broke down the entire Pooniverse, what it's going to be, how it's going to be connected to everything. And yeah, all these characters are going to meet up Avengers style in a Pooniverse movie and kill this town that they've created. It's going to be great. I love when both of those movies are great. Blood and Honey 1 and 2.
The second one's better.
I still haven't seen it. I
haven't seen either one of them, but
the first one's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird. Very weird.
And the second one will be on demand mid-June because I follow the creators because I'm that messed up.
All right,
but I left
Jean
you with
Paul.
100 beavers, so there you go.
I'm excited.
I'll be
for that.
dreaming
That was
about
fun.
it tonight. I know that much. All right.
As
well,
always, I always dream of 100 beavers. I will see you later.
Hey, see you later, Jean Paul.
Oh,
take care,
Hey,
guys.
everybody.
See ya.
You don't want to die of cold, toll free.
Okay, well, let's go forward in time. How many years would it be? 2018?
The third, 41 years?
True.
1977 to 2018. Yep, I think you're right.
41.
Yeah.
A darkness swirls at the center of a world-renowned dance company, one that will engulf the artistic director, an ambitious young dancer, and a grieving psychotherapist. Some will succumb to the nightmare, others will finally wake up. Directed by Luca Guadagnino. What? How to say?
Guadagnino.
There you go.
Luca Guadagnino.
That guy. Written by Dario Argento, Daria Nicolodi, and David Kajanik. I don't know, man. People get a name like Smith or something, right? Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, Smith, the name in Italy that really takes over.
Yeah. One says Italian.
It's crazy. We're just shortening it down, I'll tell you what, man. When I was doing the research on this one, when I saw that 2.5 hour runtime, I immediately got
dude, I warned you it was long.
Because even a movie I really fucking like should not be 2.5 hours long. Even fucking Dead Alive, I love that movie, but if it was 2.5 hours long, I'd be like, dude, Peter Jackson, cut a fucking half hour, or at least a half hour, preferably an hour off of that. What the fuck?
Yeah, there were a few times just because I would like pause to take notes, and I remember at one point being like an hour in and being and seeing that there is still an hour and a half left of this.
Preaching to the choir, buddy. Yeah.
They took a walk with us.
The one thought that I had, it came out in 2018. I feel like if this would have been made 2.5, 3 years later, it would have been a series. We would have had an 8-part series. And I think that would have done it actually some justice to kind of drag out some of those plot lines to make them, instead of trying to cram all of these different ideas into this one story for 2.5 hours, maybe stretching it out would have made it not drag when it did.
Yeah. Oh no, I think you'd have some episodes in that series that would just be boring as fuck, because there's some stuff in this I was like, man, this is really pointless bullshit that they've got going on. But I'll give it credit.
I feel like there's a lot of series right now that do that though. Especially something with like these artistic dance scenes. I could just see entire episodes with like 15-minute dance scenes. I'm not saying it'd be a good idea. I'm just saying that I think
I do give it some credit though. Like the music at the beginning of this is not grating my soul, and it was funny because like I heard that Argento said that there was no music in this. That was one of the things he mentioned. Now he might have meant like grating, make you feel nervous music, because this was an enjoyable score. There was like 3 songs on here. I was like, those are pretty good songs.
Yeah, it's Tom York from Radiohead.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I caught that too.
That's why.
And it's funny because there are a lot of real Radiohead-ish, Tom York-ish, especially a lot of the drumming when he brings in the percussion at a lot of great times in it as well.
Yeah. That also probably has some benefit to, I bet he scored the movie, right? He probably didn't just make this music and then
he scored
he
this as
scored
his
the film.
Yeah.
He composed all that stuff. He did it.
Yeah, I tried to maintain an open mind. Even though there was that long runtime, clearly, the one dude reminded me of fucking Mike DeWine. I don't know if you guys know who Mike DeWine is. He's an Ohio
governor, right? Your governor.
He's an Ohio governor, and the old guy, the psychiatrist, looked just fucking like him. I thought like an older.
Was that
version.
Tilda Swinton? Was that Tilda Swinton?
Or was it Conan O'Brien?
yeah. Because I was like, I kept waiting for a reveal. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was like waiting for some reveal where she's like both the people or something. But
Tilda Swinton. And you know what I kept waiting on her to do, which I thought would have looked really fucking bizarre, is fucking dance. Why didn't we see her dance one fucking time in this thing? She was supposed to be like the prima ballerina, right? Or something. Like she wrote dances.
It wasn't her job to dance. It was her academy. She was running that.
You think
shit.
we would see her show a bitch something to do, like she'd be like,
I don't know.
This.
It's another blink and you'll miss it. Like there's a part where when they're dreaming, when she starts, when Dakota Johnson starts like realizing the dreams and stuff, like, and turns them back on her, like you see that she turns the dreams back on Tilda Swinton, like the girl climbing the wall and shit. Like that's her character. That's Tilda Swinton's character. So like it was super quick cuts. There might have been that person dancing. I don't know, but it was super quick cuts.
I was trying to keep positive in mind because of the runtime, but the color scheme of this movie, talk about the total opposite. Like Argento's so colorful, and this thing's beige as shit. It's like beige.
Right.
And
even the building, like you were talking about the lighting in the building, and I was thinking how this one, it's the opposite. How everything is dark in the building. How except for the actual dance rooms, the hallways, the foyer that they try to sneak around in on marble floor with clogs, it sounds like.
Right.
Sneak around in the foyer of it.
Swinton, man, whenever I first saw her, I laughed because you see her in like a reflection, and it definitely looks like Conan O'Brien. It almost made me wish it was him. Like
God.
How much better would this movie have been if it was him in a wig? Come on. Like being serious too, like the scene where the girl gets bent and broken via voodoo dance magic is probably cooler than anything in the original film. But it would have looked better in some red moody lighting or something. Just saying. This may be a case where if you could somehow combine the best parts of both of the films, you could have like something really great. Like instead I kind of felt middle of the road about both of these things. This one though, I enjoyed more than the original, so that surprised me. As long as fuck as it is. Now this is what's weird. This one I enjoyed more. The other one is more rewatchable. I won't ever watch this thing again. I will never ever watch this movie again in my life, but I might put that one on, even though I enjoyed this one more. Very strange. I I certainly enjoyed the soundtrack much more. Like I said, I also appreciate how they kind of cleaned the story up a little bit because they basically used the same story.
Yeah,
and Argento said
same basic script, and then Luca did whatever he wanted.
And Argento said, why do a remake if you're not going to keep it the same? And if you're going to change it, why make something different? I think that if he would have done any other movie about witchcraft in a ballet school, that people would have been like, that's a ripoff. Yeah. The only thing he could do is,
I felt like there was better storytelling in this one. You have with the way that you have with the Patricia in the beginning when she's talking to the psychiatrist and laying out her whole theories. So we're not guessing as to why everything is going weird. And it becomes more of that investigating a mystery than you had in the first one, where it was, oh, I guess there's a mystery. Whereas this, it's, there is in scene one, this problem.
And then there's witchcraft.
Right.
Yeah.
There's witchcraft. It's that the dancing is connected to the witchcraft. I don't think you knew that. If that was the case in the original, I don't think you knew that. I didn't know that. I didn't know what the witches had the ability to do. But yeah, I definitely appreciated that. It clarifies the group's intent. Like it makes it you're like, oh, I know what these fucking people are trying to do now. Much more concise. I did like how they brought back Jessica Harper to play Anka, I think is what her name is. That was a cool thing. And they did a little tribute to Argento at the end by throwing finally some color in that last segment. The crazy ending. The ending is very cool. That ending was awesome. I loved how they incorporated all the dancing into that ritual. The little twist at the end and the bloodbath that ensues after that. It was just overall more enjoyable, despite being an hour over what it should be. I gave it an 8. Mm-hmm. I bet you could edit it down to an hour and a half, and then I bet you could get a 10 for me. If you cut all the bullshit out of it and smushed it together in about hour 45, you might get a 10 out of me. But yeah. Who's next? Steve?
That's a surprise.
Yeah. I was surprised myself.
I am super shocked. I thought you were going to talk about how much of a slog this was because it was so fucking long. I thought that was.
I was lined up to hate it.
I bet you were. Yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised. Cool.
I had to force myself
I did have the note. When I was taking my notes, and I tried to delineate them by act, and by the time I got to act 6, I wrote too many acts next to it. That 6 acts is too many acts. It was a much different body count in this one as well, because especially that first when Olga dies, and she doesn't really die, she's just mutilated and drug off, and it did a lot more. I feel like this movie really recognized that there are things scarier than dying, and I think that is I feel like a lot of horror movies don't understand that, and I feel like this movie really captured that. I did think it was too long. I feel like they filled most of that time with storytelling, even if that storytelling did kind of drag. The parts I found a lot of the parts that did drag didn't bore me. I found that some of the storytelling stuff bored me more than the parts that seemed like they drag. Like the psychiatrist walking home, giving this nice little snapshot of 1977 Berlin. It was just kind of an interesting thing to see. And those long drawn out dance scenes that they all kind of went on too long, but I was also kind of like here for it. So it was, and Dakota Johnson was in a show called Ben and Kate back in 2012, 2013. And I had a huge thing for her back then. And so it was also seeing her in this role was a very different. I don't think she's a very compelling actor when it comes to serious stuff. I feel like she does better with lighter comedic stuff. But I still think that she carried her role. But there were times that I felt like there could have been someone with a little bit more power behind it. But I guess that kind of reveals itself at the end. Yeah, and I really liked how I liked this one more than the other one. I gave this one an 8 as well. That I felt like the storytelling was really good, even though the pacing wasn't quite as good.
Yeah, I like a long movie, especially if it's enthralling, and this was definitely enthralling. When it was announced, I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it, but I was stoked because it was, came to Amazon straight away because it was an Amazon film. So I watched it right away and was just blown away. The music, awesome. Tom York just knocked it out of the park. That main theme that they dance to when Mia Goth comes back up from her broken leg, that distorted piano and it keeps getting faster and faster and faster. It was really good. Tilda Swinton, love her to death. She's like an androgynous goth Meryl Streep. Like, I will watch anything that she is in. She was all done up as Helena Marcus in this. That was great makeup. Those little hand tumor thingies all hanging off her. She was literally decomposing and the water was like coming out of her at the end. You know what I mean? Like, that was cool makeup. I would have liked to have seen more of that. And then the makeup as Dr. Klemperer, like right. Did you realize that was Tilda Swinton like acting?
It took me about a half an hour of it.
Before I realized. Then I was like, I think this is sense now, dude. Oh my god. I was looking at the cast, right? I was looking at the cast, trying to figure out who that old dude was. Because I thought he was somebody else from something. And if it was her, you're saying. The psychologist?
She was wearing makeup. Yeah, she played 3 roles.
Who did I think it was? I can't even remember. I was, how.
So check it out. When she purposely did that on IMDb to like, she put it under a whole different name. Like,
no kidding.
I didn't find a name at all. I couldn't find that.
Oh, it might have been removed. Maybe she didn't do it at all.
If you Google it, there's people talking about it. That's how I found it. I was like, is Tilda Swinton the old man in Suspiria remake?
Yeah, but she's not like pretending to be the old man. She's literally wearing the prosthetics to act.
Exactly.
Her Madame Blanc was so good. Like, don't get me wrong, Joan Bennett, she gave that the aristocratic old ballerina in the original, which was fine, but this movie just did everything better in my opinion. I've watched this a few times and I paused to read the diary pages that the doctors look through, and it specifically meant mothers from Greek mythology. They're like the 3 fates, and like the diagram that they were going to dance to, because she was supposed to be the one that Marcus was going to go into, because he even wrote down simulacrum, which is the switching of bodies. That Olga dance, I remember seeing that before it came out, and I wish I wouldn't have. I would have loved to have been super surprised, because that was the athleticism of throwing herself around, and then like obviously they green screened some of the shit, but what got me was that jaw that went like slow out, and her teeth were like exposed and shit. And then they're just like, all right, get her. And then it got those rib looking hooks. They look like ribs.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought was like, that's deliberate for something. I wrote.
It kind of look like the kind of needles that they use to sew you up or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, I was thinking meat hook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or a meat hook.
It was just like the way it got super thin and then wider towards the handle. It looked like the shape of a rib. It was just weird. But cool. And then they just hook her and pick her up and haul her away. It was just so.
Yeah, and they say don't hurt her.
A vomity, piss-soaked lump of flesh because she just got contorted from magic, which was like, that's why I really love this movie, is because they went full on. You were right. They didn't hide that they were witches. We're witches and we got fucking politics. And it was like, versus Marcos. And they leaned all the way into the dancing and the magic. Like I like musicals and stuff. And I really appreciate people that can dance, even if it's interpretive dance. Like I cannot move my body that way.
That's not true, John. I saw you dancing. I saw you dancing in the promo for your wife's band.
Yeah.
The slow lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's me. What else did I like? Let's not forget our recent darling, Mia Goth.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah, I didn't even recognize her until halfway through.
She was so adorable and meek and just so sweet. And her eyes looked really cool after she got all hypnotized. And that if you have, what's the fear of holes? Is that tryptophobia?
Sounds right.
Fear holes and stuff. Those holes just appearing out of nowhere in that hall. And supposed to be pitch black, because she, but you got to be able to see what's happening. I did not hate the fact that spoiler alert, turn off now, but the Reaper
we don't do that.
was her, was Dakota Johnson. She was Mother Suspiriorum, which I thought was a really cool twist. And then that black elemental demon thing that just exploded all the people that voted for Marcus. I thought
I was kind of wondering that you now, after at the end, getting the idea that was the thing under the floor that she was dancing to, that we're thinking it was Marco that whole time. The scene when she's dancing on the floor and she wants to stay to the floor, she doesn't want to jump, and you see the hand coming up against it.
That was Marcus. That thing that was like chubby and the nails were gross and the skin was gross. That thing was like slick and black and thin.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was definitely Marcos, because she even said they were Blanc and Tanner were sitting and reading those magazines. She's like, you put Helena Marcos in a closet under the floor.
It
was like kind of funny. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Yeah,
like,
that's right. You did. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Like you put fucking like Queen Witch under the floor. I thought that was funny as shit. Like, well, she wanted to.
She wanted to be there. Yeah.
But I really, really liked the very end when the doctor gets some peace of mind, and then he doesn't have to live with it ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sad and like vindicating at the same time because of what he went through. He started out just trying to help a girl who thought he was who he thought was delusional, and it's going to a full-on rebirth of one of the three fates. And he's there, he's the witness, he's there to watch it all. So like I have zero problems with this movie whatsoever. Maybe Dakota was a little, you're right, Steve. Like could have been someone a little bit
a little flat. Coming
out of like rural
Ohio. Mennonite, yeah.
Exactly.
Amish, Ohio.
Yeah, I feel like okay, her meekness and stuff kind of, but it was like, I don't know.
Frank, we know girls like that, don't we?
but that
yeah,
aside,
I mean, not personally, really. I've seen them though. I've seen them around.
that aside, I've rambled on.
Former
about,
Mennonites.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of former Mennonites, but I see Mennonites. They are among us.
Yeah.
And at least in
We're
my
in
community,
Ohio.
you live in Columbus. You live in Columbus, so you don't see.
I see all kinds of people. I see shit all the time.
He gets around.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I went to college in central Pennsylvania, so I'm also I've been stuck behind a buggy on a highway before.
Yeah.
Totally. So
What'd
yeah,
you give it, John?
I gave it a 10. This is a 10 for me. I like this
Wow.
movie.
He's knocking 10s all day
Well,
today.
Well, so I mean, I'm not going to harp on too much. You guys, between the three of you, brought together everything I loved and didn't like, about the movie. I'll just hit some points. Again, Tom York. I can't stress enough how surprised I was the first time I watched this. And again the second time now, how amazing the soundtrack is. His music is great. Yeah, I love Tom York. I have every Radiohead album and some deep cuts. So that's one of my favorite bands. So I was just like elated that he did this. So that's great. Again, the color scheme is rolled back like everybody talked about, but it is shot like a 70s movie. They at least tried to keep the aesthetic of that. It's set in 77. So you've got that vibe still, a different country, right? I don't think the first one was in Berlin, right? It was in
it was in another German city, but
they were both German. Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, I agree with Steve. I liked the little sidetrack story about with the therapist. That whole love story was really interesting to me. I'll be honest, I could have watched an hour and a half movie about that. That would have been cool with me. I mean, I love the cabin at the end too, with their initials, overgrown and being used. It's pretty cool. There's a lot to like in this movie. My problem with it is, and I got to side with Frank. Normally I don't, but I got to side with Frank on this. I felt like 36 minutes of this movie could have just been fucking gone. It could have just been not there, and this movie would have flowed a lot better and been a tight, 2-hour movie with a good end, with a great ending. Let's be honest, this ending's great. But it did, and that's one other little side problem too. If I'm gonna bring up that problem, is the ending. It's like fucking Lord of the Rings. This thing ends like 3 times. Like I was like, oh, like, okay, now we're gonna sit here and talk to the guy, and I did like that. Don't get me wrong, I liked that he got closure. I liked the end of that story, but at the same time, I'm like, cut fucking 20 minutes of that weird dancing out. And again, I get it's got its point. It's got its fucking point. I get it, but it could have been pared down, and then we could have had that
trimmed off. Yeah, shave off anything where it's radio chatter over a scene. Think about how many times that happened, where it's like they're giving you the information about the political shit that's going on that is really just a side trick.
Yeah, and I also want to say, Chloe Moretz, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
She was great at the beginning. Like the other girl in the original, we don't know shit about her. Like Steve was saying, this we get to know her, and I like that actress. I always think she's great. She does horror movies a lot, and she does interesting shit. She was in a sci-fi series recently, not Sci-Fi Channel, but a science fiction story on Apple TV. She does interesting stuff, and she's always solid. So I wanted to say that too. I know we talked about a lot of actresses; they're all great, but she did a really good job for such a small part with that as well. But I liked, I liked when I found out that was Tilda Swinton. Sometimes I don't really like her. I know that you said you really like. Sometimes I don't, but she was fucking great in this, in all 3 roles, and I was just impressed. And so, I mean, some of the dream sequences I thought were a little long too, but if you're going to watch this movie, you're going to have an experience. And like Frank said, I probably won't watch this one again. I've seen it twice now, and I don't think I would sit through it again unless I was doing a Suspiria day again, where I watched both of them back to back. I might do, but I give it an 8 out of 10. I think this is something people should watch for sure. So
right on. It got a way better reception than I was thinking. Cool.
Yeah, there was like at least 2 or 3 times where I was like, do I like this? Do I like this?
You're like that Fry meme. You're like, not sure if like this or not.
Yeah.
Well, when you hit me with that time up front, that's a bump. And then like the color palette was just drab, bump. But the soundtrack was really, that can really do a lot for me. Like, and so the fact that there were at least 3 songs that were actual songs, it felt like, not just score, but like things that I would be like, let's hear that fucking Tom York song again. It's just, after the first movie killing me and making me think like, what the fuck, I want to write a letter to all the guys in Goblin and just ask them what up.
Dear
can I
Goblin.
get a cut? Can I get a cut without all the noise? Because I do like that theme. But anyways, let's get into show and tell. I did not prepare a game today, so who wants to go first?
I'll go
I have
first.
to get my shit.
Yeah,
I'll go first. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I didn't show this, and I haven't opened it yet, but I found the Puppet Master 6-shooter and Jester.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, dude.
Very cool.
They look super cool. Jester's got some different heads, but I mean, I'm here for 6-shooter. He's my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I might open this. I don't know, but like, I haven't. I mean, another draw for this is just strictly the box because it's Toulon's case.
Oh, cool. Okay,
like,
yeah, it is. I just noticed that. Nice.
I got all. This is the 3rd set, so I have all of them so far. All the core ones like Blade, Tunneler, Torch, and Pinhead.
Are you going to do an unboxing video for that or no?
No, I don't know. I haven't opened any of the other ones, so I don't know if I'm gonna or not.
I got you.
And then did I show the Phantasm book?
Yes, the last time.
I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, and then this is just a bonus because he's just awesome. This awesome Chainsaw Man figure.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I found him at Barnes and Noble of all places. At posable and stuff. I play with this thing every day.
Nice.
He fights Godzilla.
There you go. Yeah.
For hours.
Well, do you want me to go next then, Frank, or do you want to go?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. I picked up some new movies. I've been looking for Evil Dead on 4K, but I haven't found it in the wild yet. I don't want to pay Amazon prices for it. The original Evil Dead, I mean, I like the other ones a lot. I have them on 4K, but I paid a reasonable price. For some reason, they've got the first one jacked way up.
It's probably out of
so
print.
I was out at Half Price Books and I found Evil Dead the original on Blu-ray, $6.99. I was like, awesome. So I'm gonna keep this one for a while until someday the 4K maybe will come down in price.
They'll make it in 8K. Don't worry.
Yeah, right. and then I really got into when Evil Lurks. I picked that up finally on Blu-ray. I got into this guy Damien Rugna, and so I picked up his first film, I guess, Terrified too. And I fucking love this movie. I can't sing this movie's praises enough. It's, to me, I feel like it's a spiritual prequel to this one. Like, it's got a lot of the same kind of elements in it. It's just a little different, It might be connected. I don't know. I was reading about it online. It seems like he wants to create his own universe for this stuff. So I mean, they might connect them down the road, but I highly recommend, if you have not seen Terrified, do yourself a favor. It's on Shudder, or buy it on Blu-ray like I did. Don't be a cheap bastard. Buy it, you bastards. That's it for me.
Steve, what do you say? What do you got?
So I had said that my daughter and I watch a lot of horror movies together, and for Christmas this year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
She and it actually, if I can get it, it actually does come apart and go back together again.
Oh, that's
now you've done it. Now you've done it.
Yeah.
And yet, no sex demons. So
you're just gonna get the one that has
where's
the
my
CDs in its
BDS
head.
demon?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has a little stand and it sits in our living room.
Cool.
That's where it
Badass.
belongs.
And I'd say anytime somebody comes over and they start to touch it, scream at them. Be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Do you know what you're doing?
Fuck them now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a couple things here. I don't think I've showed these yet. Jason just kind of gave me. I bought them from him. We got a. Oh fuck! Can you see it?
Your
God
green
damn it!
screen.
Green screen's blacking it out, buddy.
Fuck.
I got that guy.
Here.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Harry
There you
Warden.
go.
Harry Warden from My Bloody Valentine, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
My Bloody Valentine.
Nice.
This is the one that Jason said. This is a bonus. He gave it to me. He said he couldn't sell it. No one would buy it online, and he's like, "I'm giving it to you." And it's Quentin Tarantino from Planet Terror. It's got a little separate head where his eyes out. But I was looking at the back, and his name is Rapist Number 1.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this? I haven't seen this one.
I've seen Planet Terror. Yeah,
the car
he
one's the
tries
only one
to
I
rape
saw.
a chick in that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so much better than Death Proof.
Yeah.
Rapist number 1, which therefore indicates the following rapists number 2 through however many.
Yeah.
Unless he was just trying to start his own thing,
Follow me, guys.
Yeah.
He's rapist number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that. If it's better than Death Proof, Death Proof.
Dude,
Death
it's
Proof.
yeah,
it's
I'll have to
built.
check it
It's
out.
a shoot 'em up.
I'm surprised you haven't seen it. Yeah, it is.
of
It's
all
right up your alley, dude. It's great. Yeah.
I don't know. I never watched when that was a double feature in the theater. That's how it was originally out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it that way. Yeah.
I didn't see it, and then we reviewed Death Proof randomly because Jared picked it back in the day, and just never had a reason to watch the other one or whatever. I think also people told me that the Planet Terror was bad.
They're wrong.
Yeah, they're incorrect.
You know how big of a Tarantino fan I am. I would rather watch Planet Terror than Death Proof any day of the week.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, Planet Terror is great. You would love it, dude.
I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah, it is so up your alley.
There's a guy who's eating barbecue all the time in it. He's constantly talking about his sauce. You would fucking love it.
It's Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, Lawnmower Man.
Lots of good people in that too. Michael B.
Yeah.
Freddie Rodriguez, Rose McGowan.
Right.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's all about this virus. That turns
it's pretty.
zombies. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Chick's got a leg with a machine gun on it, dude.
I know that. There's a lot of stuff.
It's
I got a lot of garbage I've got to watch,
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the show, guys. I'm glad I have good strong internet now. Hopefully this episode isn't shite. But
what's next month's picks, man? Do you have them yet?
Oh yeah, we do. I went with I shared the link with you guys. Good dog, or is that what it is?
Good boy.
Good boy. And Jason was trying to pair it up correctly to do a nice double feature. So he found a movie called Furry Nights. It's a furry slasher. So people dressing up like furries. And it doesn't look as bad as that sounds.
No,
I'm here. What year did it come out, Frank? Do you have it?
Fairly recent. He sent me the trailer. Maybe it says it on there.
Furry. He's like, can't wait.
3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but Steve, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You'll have to come back around again sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd appreciate it anytime. I love this.
Where can people find you on the internet? I know you do music, you do podcasts.
Sing your praises. Tell us all about you before we go.
You can find me. My name Steve Marchion, Marchion. I also go by the Weed Wizard a lot. I'm a medical cannabis patient, and I kind of really leaned into that. And I'm on I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and also follow the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. We're on all of the same stuff. NJBP Pod on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. But we come watch a couple of middle-aged guys review Gossip Girl.
That's awesome.
Good
That's
concept.
awesome, dude.
So fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
I like it.
Well, I'll see you guys next month.
All right.
Steve, thanks
All
again.
right.
Good night, guys. We'll see you.
So much,
Fellas,
guys.
as always, it's a pleasure. Have a good one.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good time. We'll see ya.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Take care,
Last round of
Horror show. I discovered there is life after death.
How do you know?
There is a certain mental transference, telepathy that occurs between the vampires and their victims. So let the sun shine in, face it with a grin, smile.